Hi, everybody. This is Todd Creager, and I am here talking to you about 7 keys to recover from gaslighting. I have talked about gaslighting. Gaslighting is quite a common thing to that afflicts people, and I just want to make sure, since I started maybe before it actually started, that I'm Todd Creager. So I'm repeating myself, and I'm talking about gaslighting, which is something I've been talking about before. And it's a process where a person feels victimized or is victimized, sometimes doesn't realize it, but are victimized by someone who doesn't really face their own stuff, who needs you or someone in their life to manipulate so that they could feel better or superior or in control. And you become manipulated, and to the point where you might doubt yourself or even think you're a little crazy. And it's really something I work a lot with people. I have a bunch of people in my practice right now. Right now, they're women, but it could be men too that are victims. But right now, I'm thinking of a half a dozen women currently that I'm working with, where they have been with men who are narcissistic, who are not able to look at their own issues, who really wall their own shame off by trying to make you feel terrible about you or uneasy or kind of on shaky ground. So I am not going to talk today about how to get out of these relationships. I'm talking about once you're out, it's sometimes still difficult to just totally recover from it. Several people I'm working with now, they're out formally of their relationships, but they're still feeling the effects, the after effects of this relationship that literally changed how they felt about themselves. I hear statements like, "I lost who I am." If you could relate to that, maybe you are a victim of gaslighting. I I I stopped seeing my friends. I forgot what I wanted. I don't even know what I want. These are some of the comments. So, 7 keys to recover. I took a few notes. If I look down, I'm just looking at my notes here on my phone. One thing that we need to do if we're victims of gaslighting is to absolutely change, get out of all contact with this person if possible. If possible, you need to block, you need to erase, you need to delete, you may need to change your phone number. Now, one person I'm thinking about right now, for example, her gaslighter was her husband, eventually to be ex-husband, and they have a child together. Okay, the person cannot totally stop. So in real life, sometimes you can't, depending on who that person is. If you can, please do. If you can't, you got to set some boundaries. Blocking, erasing, changing phone numbers, they're all boundary setting. If you can't do that, you absolutely have to just adhere to your own boundaries, which may be things like, I will only talk to you if necessary. I will only talk to you about our child and nothing else. If you get into anything about me or who I am or my worth or our past, I will uh, gently hang up the phone. Gently and quickly hang up the phone. I am not here to listen to another word you have to say. And you do it. And you block. And if you see an email, as a matter of fact, you would just maybe. I have one person who has other people read the email for them. They have a designated email reader, and will say not delete or okay, read this, and most of them are delete. So that was a creative way to deal with gaslighting. This actually is a man I have in my practice, so I'm glad I thought of that, who has been gaslighted tremendously and manipulated tremendously, and has several people, a team, that's supporting him by looking at any emails. If he sees her name, he does not read that email. Somebody else does. So I thought that was a beautiful way of trying to do your best to block and erase and not engage with the gaslighter. The second thing is you want to surround yourself with supportive people. Obviously, there are going to be people in your life which, we'll talk about this. There might be other people that have gaslighted you before. Sometimes you only get gaslighted once in life, but sometimes it's kind of a pattern of not being validated as a child. You want to make sure that if there are other people in your life, in your family, old friends, whatever, that have not really validated you, not really tuned into you, they may not be the people, as you're recovering from gaslighting, to spend any significant amount of time with, if at all. And instead, support, make sure you surround yourself with people that are supportive, that are validating you and validating your growth that you will have as you are breaking free from that old gaslighting relationship and discovering yourself again. Number three, well, when you're in a gaslighting relationship, oftentimes the relationship gets all about trying to just get through a day, get through an hour, get through a minute, managing, trying to manage the emotions of the other person, which is totally impossible. You can't, but you're gonna try just to feel safe. But now that you're out of it, now you have to start to practice some self-care. Self-care would be things such as meditation on the top of my list. With meditation, you are actually spending time with you. You are tuning in to something inside of you, a breath, a wonderful feeling, an image, a word, something that's lifting you and helping you change your energy. So meditation is on the top of my list. Working out top is right up there. Working out is important because you're moving, and our bodies, they need us to move and to experience the blood flowing, as well as developing stronger bodies. And the stronger our bodies, oftentimes the quieter is our mind. It doesn't work that way all day long sometimes, but definitely I know that when I work out, it mellows me out. And of course, there are other important things of self-care throughout the day, not just working out. I think this is a culture that we oftentimes depend too much on working out, as important as it is, and not enough on learning how to meditate and sit still and tune in and evoke a relaxation response, at will, which is something we can do through our breath, through softening our muscles, easy ways to take care of ourselves. And of course, I want to mention what we eat. There's two kinds of foods, basically, those that nurture our bodies and those that take energy away from our bodies. And I'm not saying never have fun with eating, but I would say that a lot of the foods that I used to eat that were fun actually drained my body of energy. It's not self-care. So though I'm not a perfectionist and I don't subscribe to perfectionism, I think it's important to mostly eat food that nourish us. I'm not a nutritionist, but there's plenty of information out there. So that's also number three, is self-care. Number four, you want to discover your own negative beliefs that contributed to being a victim of gaslighting. Now, let me be clear here. When I'm saying that you need to discover your own negative beliefs, this is not to blame you for being gaslighted. The person who gaslighted you is 100% responsible for his or her manipulation of you and evoking feelings in you of insecurity and doubt and stress and anxiety. Yet, now that you're out of that, or at least getting out of that gaslighting relationship, you do want to take a look at some of your negative beliefs, such as I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. We want to look at where that may come from. What were the messages you got? Or my job in life is to regulate people that have more problems than I do, apparently. Those kinds of beliefs are dysfunctional. So what are my negative beliefs? How about a negative belief of I'm not safe? And so you learn it and then you recreate it, because that's what we do. We have a negative belief. We unconsciously create a similar scenario that makes us feel the way we did, that was familiar when we were young. So you do want to take an inventory of that. Discovering your own negative beliefs. Because once you discover those negative beliefs, you could challenge those negative beliefs, and you're going to put yourself in more and more of a state of recovery, and also become a better, as they say, picker. So you'll pick a person that doesn't resonate anymore with those negative beliefs. Number five, ask yourself what you want. When you're in a gaslighting relationship, you stopped. It was all about survival. So now you don't have to worry about the other person. Ask yourself what you want, and start with small things like, what do I want to, what do I want to eat? Who do I want to call? Where do I want to go? If I wasn't worried about other people's feelings and well-being for a moment, I'm not saying you shouldn't care about these people's well-being, but if I could just take a vacation from that, what would I do? What I would say healthily selfish thing can I do? You want to trust your gut. You want to practice trusting. Oh, energy on this. Let's do it. I don't have energy on that. Let's not do it. What are my feelings? When I think about doing that thing or saying that thing, does it make me feel happy? If it does, then do it. If in retrospect you made a wrong choice, so what? What we're trying to do is help you practice trusting your gut, doing the things that you really want to do, rather than always having to manage somebody else. Very important in your recovery to learn to tune in to even those little wants, and of course bigger ones. Of course, bigger ones. Number 6. Now, this is when you can work towards the bigger ones. Okay, what are your dreams? What are your visions? Think about your visions for you. Don't listen to anybody for these moments. Tune into you. What do I want? What do I see for myself? And how can I develop that confidence to work towards my dreams, which might be just remembering times when you were confident, or doing little things in moving towards that dream, or taking that chance. I remember one woman who was gaslighted, and I remember her saying how she created a website and she never could finish it. She never could publish it because she was worried if it was going to be good enough. That was a belief. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. So as soon as my advice to her was, when you get off this phone, publish it. She goes, but what if it's not perfect? But what if it's not done? Or whatever. She said, something like that. I said, correct it later. Publish it now, correct it later. Just the act, she told me the next week, she was in a group that I was doing, just the next week, that day, she said I published it, and immediately I felt a sense of confidence that I acted as if I could make a decision. You know, when you're gaslighted, you stop making decisions for yourself. So you want to be able to do that. Start doing those things that build confidence, work towards your dreams, take little steps, little action steps along the way. And the 7th and last thing, and I always have to say this, get a professional to help, a therapist. Myself, I do this all the time. I help accelerate and catalyze people's process as I co-navigate with that person through this process of recovery from being gaslit, and to once again return, or sometimes for the first time, return to who he or she really is. So take the steps that you need to do, follow these 7 keys, get professional help like someone such as myself. I'll work virtually with you, and we can make things happen. And do the other steps, of course. And you don't need a person all the time. There are things you can do. Those little steps make all the difference in the world. So I wish you the best. I wish you well in your recovery. If you know someone other than yourself that could benefit from hearing these words, please pass this on. All right. Thank you. This is Todd Creager, making the world safe for love.